Ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to do this a few short days ago, but we were wondering, did he go Hollywood on us? Did the spotlight go to his head? But he is here, but he's had some big wins of late, so maybe he's got a point. Maybe he's got a reason as to why he delayed on us, but we'll certainly take the good, the bad, and the ugly and everything in between. But he certainly right now is on a run right now that I think a lot of people are going to want to hear. And also a breaking news announcement that literally happened just a little short while ago regarding our guest right now. We'll get into all of that. So without further ado here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show, pro wrestling star from KOW, Odyssey Pro Wrestling, the Kingdom of Wrestling, and Paramount Wrestling, and he's the muscle man from the Spotlight and the Underclass. That is the unforgettable Andre Dekker. Mr. Dekker, long time no speak.
How are you? Still as obnoxious as usual, I see.
Can't be as more as obnoxious as some in the spotlight, some may say, but obviously we're with you. Good to be with you, though.
Yeah. Lucky you. So
my lucky day, right?
Yeah.
You're one of only several wrestlers, by the way, that has been piling on me in Sportzwire Radio the last week. I just want to put that out there. So certainly there's some that have said I've been speaking with a new kids on the block type of wrestlers. There have been some that have said that I'm speaking with wrestlers that need their permission to come on. But we obviously went to the big leagues. We went to with the big boys, and that is you, the unforgettable Andre Dekker. But for good reason, because there is breaking news, regardless of what you may think of me and anybody else, but there is breaking news that broke literally a short while ago from KOW and obviously management that you are now the third participant in the Road to Gold tournament that's coming up here next month. And set the tables for those that are watching and listening to this on Sportswire Radio. Your entrance now into KOW's Road to Gold tournament.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm in it to win it this time. I'm going to be winning the Road to Gold. I've been in the tournament before, and the last person I wrestled in that tournament was Craig Collins, who defeated me. And that was one of my first matches. That was my first singles match in KOW. And you know what? He's a big, dominant man. And there's a lot of great talent there. But the guy who was in the first Road to Gold and the guy now are two completely different animals. So you know what? All of them can bring it. I don't care whether it's Lucas Neon. I don't care whether it's Craig Collins. I don't care whether it's RPD. I don't care who it is. I am winning that tournament.
And I feel like also there's got to be a lot in the line here because obviously the War Machine Craig Collins has feuded a lot with you in the underclass. And I feel like a win here against somebody that's been a former champion that still always has his eyes on getting back that championship, I think is going to be a big stepping stone here in winning this tournament, no?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't take these things for granted. KOW is a great promotion. And for me to win that would mean a lot for me. But it doesn't mean that I'm not 100% confident that I can and will. There's a reason I'm in the underclass. There's a reason other than 2-Bit, I'm the longest serving member of the underclass. They've come and gone and I've been there the whole time. You think of a promotion in Northwest Wrestling. If they have a group, if a super group wants to take over, they bring me in.
And I also think going back to the underclass, and I want to give a shout out to a couple of people. The first one here is Matthew James, is where is KOW based? It's in Barrow. So certainly if you want to find out more information on KOW, please go to their Facebook page at Knockout W. Also K_O_Wrestling on Instagram and KO_Wrestling on Twitter, because KOW has always been one of my favorite companies here and is one of the premier companies around here, especially when it comes to family-friendly wrestling. So I want to make sure you go to Knockout W if you are on Facebook right now. But I also feel like the unforgettable Andre Dekker, that with the underclass here, a huge win here, winning the road to gold. I mean, you guys have already been the dominant faction here. We've seen the struggles between you and Commissioner Steele and everybody else in the locker room. This would only further, I think, strengthen the foothold that you guys have here, no?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to run KOW. KOW under the current management, Steele, it's going down the pan, really, to be honest. It's being run into the ground. So these fans that boo us, they don't realize that we're saving the company. We're putting the spotlight on real stars. And cheer all you want for Sheriff Steele. He's not the wrestler anymore. As good a wrestler he is, that's how bad he is as a general manager and as a matcher. So, you know, he's biased.
What would you like him to do? Listen, let's talk about.
I would like him to go. That's what I would like him to do. Get gone. Get rid. We're done with you. You stop wrestling. You're off. You said you left KOW. Go. We've done in a bit. Bye, Steele.
Well, he's having a hard time with you guys. I will say that much. There's no question that he is having his troubles with you guys, to say the least here. But I mean, let's come back to the underclass here for a second. Obviously, I do want to spend a few minutes on KOW because of obviously the news here that just broke, the fact that you are going to be in this Road to Gold tournament here. And I want to give a shout out to Uncle Ralph from Top Tier in CCW. By the way, has adopted me as his nephew, so I do want to make sure that I appreciate Uncle Ralph. So I'm glad that somebody likes me out there. But I mean, looking at some of these participants here so far, Lucas Neon and Big Guns Joe have been announced. I mean, what do you think about those two also in this tournament? What do you think about them?
Lucas Neon, I have to give it to him. In Barrow, in KOW, he feeds off that audience. That audience are there for him. And I've wrestled him elsewhere, and I've been able to defeat him. In KOW, I have never defeated Lucas Neon. But, as I said, that was a long time ago. It's been a while since we've been in the ring together in Barrow. And the last time we were in the ring together was in Blackpool. And I beat him.
Yep.
So at Odyssey, when it's not in his favor, I came in and I beat him. I wiped the floor with him. So in Barrow, you know what? You may have all your friends and family there. You might have loads of fans, loads of local fans who want to see the local boy do well. I'm there to break their hearts. And that's what I'll do.
And I almost kind of feel like going over to Big Guns Joe as an example. Speaking of things in Morecambe and elsewhere, you actually hold a recent victory over him. So you got to be feeling really confident if he's in this tournament as well, and you face off with him because you've already beaten him. So I mean that shouldn't be no problem, no?
Yeah, 100%. Look, Big Guns Joe is one of the best wrestlers in the country, one of the best wrestlers in the continent. He's wrestled all over the country. He's wrestled internationally.
I've seen him on WWE Network.
100%. And as how good he is, his credentials are there. They're ironclad. You cannot question how good Big Guns Joe is. I've heard many people question how good I am. But guess what? I defeated Big Guns Joe. So what does that say about me and my chances? I told you, it's already in the bag. I'm your champion. I am the next Road to Gold winner.
All right. Well, we'll certainly see here. And I also want to point out here a few other names as well. You mentioned the War Machine, Craig Collins, and also we are going to get the sixth person announced. And I want to make sure I give a shout out to KOW before I get to ALP, and that will be announced tomorrow. So the last participant here in this tournament will wind up being announced tomorrow. So you can go to KO_wrestling on Twitter, K_O wrestling on Instagram, also Knockout W on Facebook, and check that out for well. And I do want to get to ALP and also John Rowlandson, who's become a huge fan of KOW. And he says here, it's Lucas Neon's heart that you'll have to break if you want to beat him. So I guess you'll have to break his heart, huh?
Yeah, well,
you broke our hearts here on Thursday when you didn't come on.
I'll settle with breaking his neck. I'll settle with breaking his arms. I'll settle with breaking his legs. I'll break his nose. See how that works. You know what? You can have as much heart as you want, but at the end of the day, reality hits you in the face.
Well, we'll certainly see. And let me get to John Rowlandson says, if Big Guns Joe is looking for revenge, you might have your work cut out for you. He will definitely be kicking it up a notch. Do you agree
Does
there with
not
that? What do
sound
you
like
think?
the voice of reason to me. He's not
Okay.
the voice of a biased fan.
All right. Well,
So,
that's certainly.
I don't know why you're reading these idiots' comments. They don't mean anything. They clearly don't know anything.
Well, you won't like this next one. You won't like this next one because Graham Guest, by the way, says, hi, Tom. I must say there's only one man with muscles, and I'm watching. To be fair, though, it looks like he does have muscles, though, Graham Guest. It looks like he has a lot of muscles.
But then he's there listening and taking his time listening to me. I'm not listening to you. I don't care who you are. But yeah,
that might be so. But before I get to another participant here that's in the Road to Gold tournament, I do want to remind everybody, September the 10th is coming, and it's not too far away. As crazy as it sounds, I feel like it was yesterday, the last I spoke with you back in May, and yet here we are at September the 10th. And by the way, Cloud9 in the Lounge is where, of course, we can see all of our KOW shows, and the doors will open at 6 p.m. Tickets, get this, are only £7, and you can get tickets available at PayPal. Obviously, the link is KO_wrestling on Twitter, K_O_wrestling on Instagram for more details, where you can go and find Road to Gold. Road to Gold is always one of my favorite KOW shows, and the other person that I have to bring up that is in this tournament, and something tells me here that you're going to have a lot to say on him, and I think you know who this might be. That is the natural-born fighter, Mr. R.P. Davis. RPD is in this tournament. I know you have something to say about it, and I know that he's going to be listening.
What can I say? Like, I just can't go on with my wrestling career without this name.
I know, honestly, it's the truth. I mean, I've known you over a year and a half.
I'm fed up of it. I'm done with it. And you know what? I'm gonna finish him once and for all. Whether it's in Morecambe, whether it's in Barrow, I'm just fed up with him. Like, to be honest, I just can't go anywhere without bumping into this guy. We've wrestled at Kingdom of Wrestling. We haven't wrestled yet in Barrow, and I'm ready for it again. You know what I mean? We've had many scraps, and he's come out on top once, and I've heard everyone saying that's the one that counts, and I'm done, and all this, and he's put his little graphic up with an X drew through my face, and he's got the fans laughing at me about it. But up until then, I made his life hell. So you know what? I mean, RPD, it's, it is what it is. Come at me again, see what happens. I'll welcome it. I welcome it, honestly.
And I want to give a shout out to a very good friend of mine who happens to be a fan of yours, and his name is Mr. Anthony J. Finkel, all the way from Brooklyn, New York, and he wants to remind me and say, Andre Dekker, rooting for you.
I remember this guy. Probably one of the few guys with brains who actually watches this.
He said rooting for you all the way from Brooklyn. That's what he said. He's rooting for you all the way from Brooklyn.
I need to come through, and we need to grab some beers because I like this guy. The rest of the absolute melts you have on this show.
And he also wants to say that you look like a rock star right now. That's what he wants to say.
Because I am. I'm a star in every sense of the word.
I know.
So
clearly, I'm an idiot. I'm an obnoxious idiot. That's clearly. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people in the world would agree about that. So what do I know, right? I mean, that's just why we have you here.
Don't know a lot.
No, I know nothing. But apparently, John Rowlandson redeems himself and says, a night out at KOW for £7, it's an absolute steal. Whether you're there to watch RPD kick someone's head off or Dekker go through a table again, it's an absolute.
John, say that to my face, you little weasel. Can't even put your own picture on your profile.
Well, the microphone. He's got a microphone there. I mean, that's, he's got a microphone. I mean, he clearly has a mic. He likes to talk. And Graham Guest also wants to talk at you, by the way, because he says, you may care if or when it's decided that I could step in a ring. I know a few people want to see this. Do you have any issues with Graham Guest?
No one wants to see you. You're worth nothing. You'll go away. You absolute melt. Right. Stop reading these guest comments out. I can't
help it. There's people that want to hear from the unforgettable Andre Dekker. They don't want to hear me talk about the amateur wrestlers.
No one cares. People want to hear from me. You have me as your guest. Let me speak. I do not care what Graham Guest and his awful tattoos have to say.
Do you have any tattoos again? I forgot.
No, I don't. I
Okay.
don't feel the need to draw on myself to express myself. I'm not an absolute loser.
I always felt kind of the same because I feel like I'm a loser already. So why would I get a tattoo? Only further inclines the
Yeah,
point.
100%.
And I have somebody here that says, "Mr. Dekker, pleasure to meet you." I don't even know if you met him, but let's come back.
No, we
Obviously,
had it, guys.
all right. So let's come back because we talked about RPD. We'll get to Odyssey in a second with RPD. But you know what? Something tells me though that the Ronin Brian Adenson, I think, is going to make RPD's life a little bit difficult in KOW. And I think that you actually, objectively speaking, despite everything you said about me, everything else, I actually do think that you are the favorite in this because we read off some of the names. Lucas Neon, I don't think he has the strength when it comes to you. The War Machine, Craig Collins, I mean, he's probably somebody that's neck and neck with you, but I think that since he's lost his championship in KOW, he's had other things on his mind. Big Guns Joe, you hold a victory over a few weeks ago. And then we've obviously spoken about everybody else. We have one more other person that's going to be announced. That's the wild card. But everybody else we spoke about here, RPD, yourself, Big Guns Joe, Lucas Neon. I would say, objectively speaking, you are the favorite in this.
Yeah,
And I
100%.
think Brian Adenson is going to have something to say about RPD. So I think we saw that when it came to their match with Keenan that RPD had. So to me, at the end of the day, I mean, looking at you right now, I mean, yeah, I would have to say that you should win this. You should win this time.
I will. I will win this. I will win this. That's it. Victory is coming to me. I am going to be the winner of this tournament.
And if you want to be a winner and follow the unforgettable Andre Dekker, you can on Twitter at Real Dekker. Also, Andre Dekker Wrestler on Instagram. Also, like his Facebook page where you can find out all the latest when it comes to the unforgettable Andre Dekker, who is doing a lot of big things right now in KOW, Odyssey Pro Wrestling, the Kingdom of Wrestling, and also Paramount Wrestling. So a lot to talk about here with the unforgettable Andre Dekker. It has been a hot skip in a minute, but we are very, very excited to have him on here. I am the host of the Sports Report and the station manager here of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Burke. So let's come back to Odyssey Pro Wrestling and obviously talk a lot about the spotlight. But first, let's recap the victory over Big Guns Joe because this was certainly a big victory. And I know everybody's focused on the whole thing with the spotlight and RPD, but you certainly got the job done here against Big Guns Joe and some.
100%. And Big Guns Joe, is doing really well. And as I said, one of the best wrestlers in the country, in the continent at the moment. You have a look on a poster for a wrestling show, and most likely Big Guns Joe is on it.
Yep.
But he's got a bit too big for his boots and thought he could just disrespect me in the dressing room. And I showed him there and then. I did what it took to win, and I don't regret it at all. At the end of the match, my hand was raised over one of the best wrestlers in Europe. So what does that make me?
Obviously, one of the best wrestlers in all of Europe, duh.
100%. And you've just said it, not me. I have defeated the likes of Big Guns Joe. I've won the Rumble where I defeated single-handedly 19 other men. I was in the main event in War on the Shore, and I didn't get pinned. I am actually yet. I've been pinned once. Once in Odyssey Pro Wrestling. And to be honest, when Chris Brooker says I'm the number one guy, he 100% means it. Ryan Hunter as a champion is a means to an end, and you know what? I respect Ryan Hunter for seeing the light and seeing the bigger picture and joining the spotlight. A man who I've known all my wrestling life. But I'm here to take over the company. We're here to run Morecambe Wrestling. Get rid of the RPDs of the world, the Big Guns Joes of the world. We don't need them. Spotlight is the future of Morecambe Wrestling. We are
Well,
bringing, and that's why we call ourselves Spotlight. We are bringing the spotlight to Morecambe in a way that none of those people ever could, especially RPD.
certainly some fair points here, and certainly I'll just leave this here. I won't say who this
Oh, and
individual is.
I've seen, and also we've got rid of one completely, and I don't know if you've heard it. We
Yes, I
announced
have.
it.
Oh, I've heard about it.
We
I have heard
announced the
about it.
news, and we sang him goodbye. And the fans loved it. So I'll sing it again to the retirement of Rick Marcus, the Cumbrian outlaw himself. Na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye. He can't even make it back to WrestleMe. He's done. No comeuppance. Boom, a bottle over his head. He announced to come back, and then you know what? He knows better. He knows a lot better than to mess with us because he's seen what happened the last time he got involved in my business. And beforehand, I actually didn't have a problem with Rick Marcus. I had some business to deal with RPD, and he ran into the ring and chased me off unnecessarily. Now, that was back in 2021, where I smashed a bottle over his head.
I remember it very well. I remember it very well at the end of 2021.
And then when we went to go to take care of business, he gets a little bit brave, and he comes out at the end of War in the Shore when we were going to finish RPD for good to try and ruin that. And I think it got a bit too real for him at that point. And since then, he's not even answering his calls. Ethan's not heard from him. Ask RPD if he's heard from his best mate, born brother. No. A guy who claims to inspire people, a guy who claims to help people get to that next level, a guy who claims to be a man who you should follow his example. Is cowardice an example? Is sticking your tail between your legs and running, is that an example? You know what? Morecambe Wrestling is better without you. So stay gone. Listen to me, Rick Marcus. Stay gone.
Well,
you better for your family, and you know what? Better for Morecambe Wrestling. We don't need you. The time is done.
Well, the old expression certainly "let bygones be bygones" isn't happening here on Sportswire Radio. But we know one thing: we may not see the Cumbrian outlaw Rick Marcus anytime soon in Morecambe or in Odyssey Pro Wrestling, especially after what the unforgettable Andre Dekker and the Spotlight have done to them. Speaking of the Spotlight, by the way, I noticed that there was something with some referees I know very well, including one of them, Scott Bell, and James Greenwood, and certainly what happened there. Apparently, we have some issues with referees who are afraid for their jobs right now. Did you guys do something to referees, from my understanding, or am I missing something here?
We've done nothing. These accusations are not really going to go into it. They can make the complaints the right way. They can going on waiting for the cameras to be rolling to air their grievances is just unfair. General Manager Chris Brooker has a very fair complaints process, and those guys are violating that. So I'm not going to go into it.
Unsafe work conditions aren't a thing in Odyssey Pro Wrestling?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's a load of lies. A load of lies. A pack of lies. So you know what? The referees, they're not happy with how things are going because again, they're biased. They're friends with the RPDs of the world. They're mates with all these guys. They're just like fans. They're just like the fans.
But aren't referees supposed to be objective though?
Objective, impartial. They claim to be, but you know, there's a reason I'm shouting for those for every time there's a 2 count that doesn't get the win because I can see them slowly bringing their hand down, and then when it's the opposite way around, all of a sudden they've got that energy. You know what? I've fed up of seeing it, and so is Reese, so is Rogan, so is co-general manager, soon to be the only general manager after that loser Ethan is done for good.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, actually, in terms of this whole co-general managership thing here. I mean, how do you think it's working out for the Spotlight right now?
Well, right now, we've got the champion.
True.
Right now, we've got Reese and Rogan, who, you know what, the tag team championship tournament is been announced as going to be one soon, and they're going to win that. They're going to enter that, and they're going to win that. I'm going to be the guy that runs the show. I'm going to be the decision maker. Me and Chris Brooker. Again, I am the Spotlight's number one guy. Chris calls me that because he knows I'm the number one guy, because he needs me more than I need him. He understands that. He understands business. He realizes that I'm the number one guy in the Spotlight, including him. So I'm gonna be the guy on the top. I'm gonna be the guy running this show, and Chris Brooker is gonna be doing that by my side.
Well, I'll tell you what, I could see that. I could definitely see that there, the unforgettable Andre Dekker. And if you like what you hear from Odyssey Pro Wrestling, you can give Odyssey Pro Wrestling a follow at Odyssey Pro Wrestling on Instagram. Also like their page on Facebook as well at Odyssey Pro Wrestling, and OPW_UK on Twitter, where you can find out more information, because they have another big show coming up October the 1st, Panic Station. So if the unforgettable Andre Dekker is your cup of tea, he's going to be a very, very busy man the next several weeks, as we are going to see him in the ring at Kingdom of Wrestling August the 27th. KOW's Road to Gold September the 10th. We will also see him October the 1st at Panic Station. So certainly time does fly, and the unforgettable Andre Dekker is making time fly and everything else go with it in between. And I am the host of the Sports Report, the station manager here of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce. And if you like what you hear from us on Facebook, you can also give us a like on Facebook at Sportswire Radio. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you can listen to all of our great content on sportnarium.com/player. And we will be back tomorrow night live, 8 o'clock, with Bentley and the Vigilante of Pro Wrestling. And he's going to have a lot to say, because I just saw him in the ring on the LWF's Monday Night Mutiny not too long ago, and he's a huge over things in BTW and GTM and several other companies. So I'm looking forward to having Bentley return. That'll be tomorrow night, 8 p.m. And we will have Disciple back. And Disciple has quite a history with KOWs, the Ronin, Brian Adenson. He'll be back Thursday night at 9 o'clock. So I look forward to getting Disciple's side of things. But right now we are with the unforgettable Andre Dekker, speaking all things related to KOW, Odyssey, the Kingdom of Wrestling, and of course, Paramount Wrestling. And the unforgettable Andre Dekker. You know, I've noticed this thing you have here for the past half hour or so, and I got to ask, for those that are watching, listening, I mean, what's with the briefcase?
Well, again, Paramount, another company who just love to put my back against the wall. I had a couple of blips with a couple of losses, and they decided that I was to enter their King of the Paramount tournament, which effectively is, I mean, I win a briefcase. If you understand, if you've watched wrestling before, you know what it means. Mm-hmm. The winner of that gets a title opportunity whenever they want. So I'll have a look what's in it. And I've obviously won. And I'm going to have a championship match on a date of my choosing. See what's in here. So I've got a couple of beers, got some JMOs, got my trusty rum. And I've got a contract here which states that I can challenge for a championship, any championship within Paramount Pro Wrestling for a full year. And I can do that at a day of my choosing, at a time of my choosing. I'm really going to have my lawyers look over this, because it's a Liverpool-based promotion and they're going to try and pull a fast one. So I'm going to get a good non-Scouse lawyer to have a look at this, really. To make sure all is in order. But, yep, again, another promotion, more victories for me. And that's just pretty much how it goes, really, when you have me on a show.
That's for sure. I mean, have you looked over this contract? Have you read it with a fine tooth and comb? Have you?
Yeah, I pay guys to do that. I don't have time.
Okay, so you don't do the reading then. So you look at it. No,
100%. The Spotlight have great lawyers. So the Spotlight, we're together throughout Morecambe, but we support each other throughout all of our wrestling careers. So I'll hand this over to Brooker. Brooker will make sure that Kelly makes the phone call to the lawyer, and sure that I'm not getting no Scousers are putting a fast one over with this contract, to be honest. So,
well, I got to ask you. I mean, how big was this for your career to win the briefcase? I mean, I have to ask the obvious question, but how big was it for your career?
Well, the one thing that's eluded me in my wrestling career is a singles championship. I've been a multiple-time tag team champion. Literally every single stable that gets set up that tries to take over a promotion, they bring me in because they know I can do the heavy lifting and the heavy work. For example, the underclass. For example, the spotlight. Now, obviously, in the kingdom of wrestling, me, Logan, and Steel. So, again, a singles championship is what I need to be at that next level, and that's what I'm going to get. And now this lets me. This is a golden ticket for me to get that. Do it whenever I want. So whether it's Buster Ellis, whether it's Isaac North, the two singles champions in Paramount Pro Wrestling, at any point, I can come in and just take that from you. You could have fit. I could be nice about it and announce it beforehand, or you can just have finished a grueling match, and I can just come in and pick up the pieces, however I feel on the day. So I'm going to pick the right moment at the right time that works best for me, and I'm going to get my first singles championship in professional wrestling.
Well, certainly what I would have to say that for your career to finally have that accomplishment, I mean, I would almost have to think, I know everything we've spoke about you, but to be a singles champion now, I mean, forget about all the money you have now, all the spotlight. You'd have even further spotlight, even more drinks, even more things. That's why I got to almost ask you, I mean, are you making sure you're not going to lose that briefcase? Because that briefcase right now might be the most important thing you're ever going to have in your life right now. I mean, that I would be a little bit concerned. Are you making sure you don't lose that briefcase or misplace it at all?
No, not at all, not at all. That's no chance that's going to happen. And also, I'm gonna be winning the Road to Gold tournament anyway. That's a guarantee.
Yep. Well,
Sure
I think you're the favorite right now.
At the end of the year, I'm sure there'll be I'm in a Rumble anyway at the Kingdom of Wrestling shortly, and I at the moment this year have a 100% winning record with Rumbles.
I know that, and I actually am
100%
ask
winning record with Rumbles in this year. So I'm obviously going to win. So opportunities are going to come for me for every promotion. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of the Andre Dekker belt collector phase of my career.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're definitely going to stack and smash that competition. But I want you to do me one favor. I know you don't like me. I got all that stuff. But if there's any person I would love to see you personally eliminate in the over-the-top Battle Royal, August the 27th, next Saturday over there when it comes to our friends over at the Kingdom of Wrestling, it's Davey Getsky. Please break him like a twig in that battle royal. And I know you have a history with Mr. Getsky, and he has had a well-documented history with us here on Sportzwire Radio. So if you could do us one favor, and I know you don't like us here, I know you hate coming on here, but make sure if you do anything, eliminate Davey Getsky in that battle royal.
Well, the last time I was in the ring across from Davey Getsky, he ended up getting stacked on top of Matt Fox with my foot over him. So How well do you think it's going to work for Davey Getsky? You know what? He can do all the push-ups in the world. He can cut all the carbs. He can get. It doesn't matter. I'm a heavyweight, and I'll smash him.
Yeah, certainly it's anyone but Getsky. I'm sure you've seen the shirt, anyone but Getsky. That's kind of been the running joke in professional wrestling the past couple of months, and I'm sure you would definitely make a note of that. And then certainly when it comes to the Kingdom of Wrestling, we've got RPD and Lance Rivera pretty much for the Crowning Glory finals there. I mean, that's almost like a main event there in itself. I mean, RPD and Lance Rivera, the Playboy Prince. I mean, that's a wild match there in itself. Again,
a nice little win, a nice little buy for them, really, isn't it? The rest of us have to
Is that RPD pulling one over everybody once again?
Oh, he always is. He always is. He's not about. He talks about I fight for the people. I fight for you. You hear his cheesy little promos. Everyone hears them. I fight for the people. I fight for you, and all this nonsense. And then everyone buys his t-shirts, and he makes money.
But where's your t-shirt? You know what? Not for nothing. Where is your t-shirt? Where can I buy? Despite everything you said. Where is the unforgettable Andre Dekker t-shirt? You know, everybody I speak with has a Pro Wrestling Tees page, or it's somewhere others where they can go find information. Where is your t-shirt?
Well, it's pending, really. It's
pending. Wait, slow down for a second. Time out.
Whoa! It's in the works. So
time out. That's all the money, right? You're the briefcase holder of Paramount Wrestling. You're the guy that's won multiple tag team championships. You're the guy that's pretty much retired Rick Marcus, right? All these things, you're telling me here right now tonight on Sportswire Radio that you don't have a t-shirt? Mr. Businessman, the unforgettable Andre Dekker, you have no t-shirt?
As I said, it's in the works right now.
Chris Brooker can't get on the phone with somebody to make $1,000.
I don't need to worry. I don't need to worry. I get my downside and my bottom line pay is more than all of theirs anyway.
So you got fans. Anthony Fitz from Brooklyn. He says
worry about. They have to hustle. They have to grind. I don't need to.
But you wouldn't want people from all over the world wanting to wear your shirt, though?
Look. As I said, it's something I'm thinking about. But I don't have the desperation like those guys. I can take my time to find the right one. But you know what? They need that grind. They need that hustle because at the end of the day, they are losers. And they can lie to the fans and I'm not going to do that because I don't have to. I'm about winning and I'm about getting that winner's bonus.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you do like Paramount Wrestling, give them a follow on Instagram at Paramount Pro Wrestling. If you like the Kingdom of Wrestling, give them a follow on Instagram at the Kingdom_of_Wrestling. Also Twitter, T_KOW, and also Kingdom of Wrestling on Facebook, because we always want to acknowledge our friends over the many, many wrestling companies that are with us on Sportswire Radio that support us. And of course, the Kingdom of Wrestling show coming up here August 27th. I mean, you're a really, really busy man. I just saw you wrestle this past weekend in Paramount. You're wrestling next weekend coming up next Friday at the Kingdom of Wrestling. September the 10th, you're in Barrow. And then October 1st, Panic Stations. I mean, you're going all over the place right now. Maybe you are really going Hollywood because that's going to be, I count four shows you're going to be on in, 6 weeks? I mean, you're a busy man these days. You're in high demand.
Look, being in demand, that's what happens when you're a star. So... You know, I can't help that. And that's why maybe some of these guys need to lie to the fans to ask them to buy their stuff. And I just go there, win, and get my winner's bonus.
So business is good for you then right now, safe to say?
Business is great. Business is great for me. If I'm winning, all is good in the world.
Well, some may feel that way, some may not. But if you do like the unforgettable Andre Dekker, I cannot stress this enough, do give him a follow on Instagram at Andre Dekker Wrestler. Also like his page on Facebook. Also like him on Twitter because he does have a lot going on. And I have a feeling that he will be holding gold in the next few months because, well, he's got that briefcase. He's pretty much going to win Road to Gold because I think RPD is going to have his hands full, something tells me. I don't think Craig Collins stacks up to him. Lucas Neon, we already know, though, how that's going to end up. And he holds a victory over Big Guns Joe, most notably in Odyssey Pro Wrestling. So I think right now, coming up a lot on the plate of the unforgettable Andre Dekker, but gold is coming to his waist or shoulders, depending on how he wears it. And speaking of that, I mean, are you a guy that likes to have gold on your waist or on your shoulder?
I'm a shoulder guy.
Shoulder. You look like a shoulder guy.
I'm a shoulder guy. More as a shoulder guy.
I mean, so I have to ask you then, let's come back to KOW for a second. We got about 10 or 15 minutes with the unforgettable Andre Dekker. He is a very, very busy man, and certainly he likes to get paid by the hour, and certainly I don't know if we can afford him at this point on Sportswire Radio. We're very, very lucky just to have even a few minutes with him. But, I mean, do you have an inclination on who could be announced tomorrow when it comes to KOW? Do you have an idea? Do you think that there could be any games that are played on the underclass here? I mean, what do you think here happens on who management announces tomorrow for the last
I'm obviously there, and the biggest thorn in my side throughout my KOW career has been the damn Freak Show. I hate them so much. And, you know, they're just a thorn in our sides. I've beat them. I've been beaten by them. I've hit Nightmare over the head with a bottle before, and he still came back for more.
And how about his hair, right? What you guys did to his hair not too long ago.
Exactly. We've chopped his hair off, and he still keeps coming back for more. So maybe they've put one of the Freak Show, maybe Nightmare, maybe Will Carter, maybe someone new. I don't know. To be honest, I don't really care because there's no one really there that's anywhere near my level anyway. And there's no one there who can really stop the momentum of the underclass. So they can bring anyone in, to be honest. If it's the Freak Show, it's going to be another thought of, I know them very well by now, and it's something that I'm not intimidated by. So they got lucky because a table match, to be honest, I fell through a table. Did they beat me? I fell through furniture.
I wasn't going to ask you.
I fell through furniture. I was up there, and if you see it, I tripped on the rope. That's it. Tripped, fell, and I landed through a table. Do you really think that Will Carter and Nightmare can lift me and Logan? We fell. It was just weirdly, coincidentally, at the same time while we're on the rope. But we fell through furniture. Is that really a win? The last time we beat them, it was 1, 2, 3. So you know what? It's not really it's really a mismatch, to be fair. When it comes to us and them, and in a tag match, they can get the best. They can get the best of us. Maybe 1-on-1, it's a different thing. And Nightmare's got lucky here and there with me. But really, Enner's victories, if you really watch them, are they really victories? Or are they just more game playing with the bias of the management there, of Sheriff Steele and ALP, who, really have an agenda. They have an agenda. So
that's something you've talked about for a long time with us since KOW has
resumed. And no one listens. That's why I talk about it.
So why do you think no one listens to you? I mean, we've had you on, 6, 7 times, and you're telling me that everything you've said here, no one listens to you. Why do you think that is?
Look, it's obvious here, they're both Barrow guys, or they're from your deepest nightmares, whatever they say. They're Barrow guys. Everyone knows that they're from Barrow. And they talk about how it's about the local guys. Now, I'm not from Barrow. I'm better than Barrow.
I know.
2-Bit's from Barrow, but you know what? He got up and he left because he's better than Barrow. Keenan's not from Barrow. Logan, again, he's from Barrow, but he is basically, he's an exception to the rule. He's a guy who was born amongst losers, but is a winner. So you know what? They don't like us because we represent everything that they're not. We are success. We are better in ourselves. Most of them of us who are from there have left. It's about the fact that they are jealous of us. It's pure envy, nothing else.
Is there pressure on you from 2-Bit at all to win this?
Look, there's always pressure. When you set your standards high, there's always pressure, and that's how it should be. When you talk about the greatest team in the world, Manchester United, when it comes to football, the Alex Ferguson years, they always spoke about the pressure that Alex Ferguson put on them, and it made them perform better. It made them perform better than above their natural abilities. Now, I'm not comparing 2-Bit to Alex Ferguson because he's a god among all men, and I'll never compare any other living or breathing human being to Alex Ferguson. But 2-Bit is, as a leader, he understands that you need to put that pressure on the right point. That's why he did send Jennifer out there after we did lose to Polish Barry and after we did lose to Davey, we needed that kick. Really, that kick up the arse. We needed that tough love. We did. We came in and we took Nightmare out. We took Will Carter out. We showed them what we can really do, and we reminded them why we're the next tag team champions. And then when I come to this tournament, I'm going to show them why I'm a force on my own to be reckoned with, let alone with Logan.
Well, we'll certainly find out here, and I will bring in John Rowlandson for a comment because he does have a comment. He says that I'd love to see Dekker head out east at some point. He's a very gifted athlete, even if he does fall through the odd bit of furniture. So he's saying you fell through something, which means a table, I would imagine. So he's saying,
I told him I fell. You don't lose if you fall over.
Just an accident. That was just an accident.
100%. 100%. I mean, it was the stipulation of the match is just biased to bigger guys who happen to sometimes be clumsy and fall over. It's not really a fair fight. You know, it was me and Nightmare. Have you seen me and have you seen Nightmare?
I have. I have.
Let's be honest.
I have. You are a nightmare. You were really the real nightmare. Rather, you were certainly unforgettable.
100%.
So listen, I could certainly maybe sympathize with some of those things here for sure. I mean, obviously, we'll see. But the headband these days, I actually kind of like the headband look here.
You like the look?
I like it. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Your opinion on
doesn't mean anything, right?
Or looks. Really, it has zero value. So
you know what? I'm used to. I've had Gareth Angel in his own promos mention my name. I've had other wrestlers and other companies say I'm not doing them enough justice. I've heard from other wrestlers mention me in their promos. So at this point, you know what? Join the club. Pile on me. God bless you at this point. Feel free because you know what? We bring you on. At this point, I feel like the way Vince McMahon was being treated as a commentator before everything that happened to him. So at this point, so be it, the unforgettable Andre Dekker. I gave you a nice compliment. Listen, I was trying to treat you nice because you said nobody treats you well.
No, you're trying to suck up. You're trying to suck up. There's a difference.
I don't think I should see. Listen, this is. Let me say something. I'm gonna do a work shoot here. This is not like when these guys like yourself.
What's a work shoot? I don't even know what you're on about.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you.
This is not like Americans are flying.
You speak the unforgettable Andre Dekker. So here's what. Well, you gotta let me finish. If you let me finish, I could get my point out. This is not like when you and other wrestlers go on. What's the guy's name who does the BBG wrestling? Chris Lappin, right? And everybody goes, oh, well, you want to book a match? Oh, what's your favorite match? No, when you come on here to Sportswire, you come on with me because I've given everybody a shot. I've given everybody a crack. And I talk about all your latest happenings, all your matches. It's not like I ask you about what's going on with WWE because I don't care. I don't care about what you think about your favorite wrestler. I don't care about your favorite moment. I talk about the here and the now. So when you come on with me, I actually give you that floor, that opportunity to come into the house that I built here on Sportswire. Not like you go on some podcast or the other guy who does for, what's his face's company in Chorley, and they talk about, well, I saw you and I helped set the ring up. No. You come on here and you come on here.
Other wrestling shows
we're throwing shade. We're throwing shade because you know what? Everybody's been throwing shade, and I'm fine with it. Listen, I come from the political world. I dealt with people throwing shades at me all the time. I'm fine with it. But the unforgettable Andre Dekker, I will say, all I tried to do was give you a compliment, say something nice about you, not talking about the fact that I'm trying to kiss butts because I don't need to kiss butts. But hey, you do you. You do everything well. It seems like it's working out for you, right? You got that briefcase.
I'm getting bored of this now.
Okay, so you're getting bored. So let's come to closing thoughts here. So I want to ask you very quickly. First thing I want to ask you is before August the 27th, what do you want to say to anybody that's going to be across the ring with you in the over-the-top battle royal? And then anything you want to say to anybody else from the Kingdom of Wrestling? Let's go with that first. What do you want to say to any of those people?
If you know what's good for you, you will literally just jump over the rope. Just Let's just save yourself some time, save yourself some embarrassment, and leave. Like that's what I'd honestly say you should do.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's save yourself some time and do that. Take your pay, go home. You haven't been embarrassed because I'm going to embarrass you all, every single one of you.
All right, that's fair. And what do you want to say to management before tomorrow's announcement on the next participant in the Road to Gold, and to anybody else you may face in that tournament, September the 10th in Barrow?
I'm going to say there's no stopping me. So whoever you bring in, whether it's a big name from another company, whether it's a local guy, whether it's a return, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I'm going to beat them. I win to God.
And anything you want to say to anybody before October the 1st, Panic Stations?
Look, at the moment, I don't have a match. I have the day off. So.
Oh, wow. Lucky you. What do you plan to do, by the way, on that day off?
I don't know. I might go down, spend some time with my fellow Spotlight friends. Who knows? Who knows? But
that must feel good to have a day off then.
I have the day off. Ideally it would have been. Ideally, I'd like that. To be fair, I think I've had a well-earned rest. I've just defeated an internationally traveled wrestler who's doing bits everywhere that he works, and I beat him. So I think I've earned it. I think I've earned it. So I'm gonna put my feet up, watch the show, have a few drinks, spend some time with Chris. We're gonna talk about some plans of action going forward. You don't get to see me every single show because I'm there for the big shows. Again, I'm the number one guy. So yeah, that's my plans, and I'd like to say to co-general manager Ethan Edwards, I have the night off. If you dare try and mess with that, I will not be. You don't want to run into me if you dare try and mess with that. Okay? Now, this isn't a threat, Ethan. This is a promise. Your days are numbered here. And I personally cannot wait until you're gone. You know it. I know it. Chris knows it. The board know it. The clock's ticking on the reign of Ethan Edwards. You're losing more power by the minute. Soon it'll all be over for you, and the future of Morecambe Wrestling will be bright. Excuse me. However, I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing the Pick Your Poison. I want to see what Ethan has up his sleeve, because whether it's gonna be some of his new friends from down south, whether it's gonna be a well-known Morecambe wrestler, whether it's gonna be someone returning, it doesn't really matter, because the spotlight can take anything you dish out and more. We outman you, we outplan you. We're smarter than you and stronger than you. So remember that. And to be honest, this is just a pointless exercise, really, because whoever we pick to wrestle RPD is going to be, it's going to be well thought out. Again, we're smarter than you. We're ahead of the game. So, Ethan, stop playing games with us. Get out. We're done with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, very, very strong words from the unforgettable Andre Dekker, especially when it comes to Odyssey Pro Wrestling here. And certainly when it comes to everything related to the Spotlight and Chris Brooker, the unforgettable Andre Dekker is certainly in a mood. And the rest of the Spotlight, that something says, you know what, Ethan Edwards, tread very, very lightly here, because we are going to find out very soon Panic Stations is coming October the 1st. Odyssey Pro Wrestling, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube for more information. Also TikTok. You can also go to OPW_UK for more information. All those social medias will get you hooked up to all things related to Odyssey Pro Wrestling. Patreon as well. You have tickets available. So all that stuff there, you can find out more information when it comes to Odyssey Pro Wrestling. So, Mr. Dekker, I'm going to give you the floor. I'm going to give you any closing thoughts, anything else you want to plug, share, say, and all right, well then we'll basically wrap it up here because the unforgettable Andre Dekker is in a foul mood.
I'm busy. I'm done.
Busy man. He wants to text, and he certainly listen. All my only advice would be is don't text while driving. That's all. That's all my advice. You can text.
No, I don't drive. People drive me. So.
Okay, you're a very famous guy. That's right, because you're obviously big time. You're Hollywood now. So, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, here the Andre Dekker here, the unforgettable one here. Certainly, just like Nat King Cole. You want to follow him, Andre Dekker Wrestler on Instagram, also Real Dekker as well on Twitter, Andre Dekker on Facebook as well. And I am the host of the Sports Report, the station manager here of Sportswire Radio. The Reverend Tom Bryce and Uncle Ralph says the very forgettable Dekker. So boy, the fans didn't like you tonight.
Uncle Ralph is weird. The fact that you call him this random dude Uncle, bit creepy.
I'm a creepy guy to begin with, apparently. Like I said, listen, join the party. Listen, the party never stops. But I will say that we will be back. I will be back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, with Bentley, the vigilante of pro wrestling. Something tells me he's going to give a 360 description of his story of things, unlike what the unforgettable Andre Dekker gave us tonight. And I'll also be back here tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern time, with pro wrestling star from Wrestling Championship Entertainment, the Kodak Kid, who I just watched there for their show in Spirit in the Sky, and he did not one but two moonsaults off the top rope. So we'll see if he does another one here for us live. That'll be 10 o'clock Eastern time. But in the meantime, we're with the unforgettable Andre Dekker. I am the host of the Sports Report, the station manager here of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back here tomorrow, 8 o'clock with Bentley, Thursday, 9 o'clock with Disciples. So we'll get a little bit of a mix of everything. So thank you, everyone. I am the host of the Sports Report, the station manager here of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend